welcome everybody to the 15th annual and the first virtual Hearts of Fire benefit. We're excited that you're joining us tonight, and I want to first say that tonight is made possible in part due to the generosity of many of our donors, Stevenson Eye Associates in Venice, Florida, United Hoist in Tampa, Florida, Villa Properties in Tampa, Florida, Innovative Products out of Hudson, Ohio, and Beck and Kev in Gilbert, Arizona. And next, what I really want to do is introduce you to some integral personalities who are part of the Hearts of Fire team and family, and you're going to hear from them tonight. Cameron Rogers, who we affectionately call Congo, has been serving in and with the international missions sector for 10 years. He's completing his master's degree in intercultural studies, which is so important for us. And he started with us after he and his family joined us on a mission to Kenya. Cameron comes across, we affectionately call him Congo. He comes across relaxed and easy to work with because he is all that and much more. Next is Brent Suker. Brent grew up on the mission field in the Philippines, and then the Dominican Republic is where he spent most of his life. He's got a degree in business administration and is certified in a lot of different digital marketing platforms. Most important to Brent, though, are God and family, and that is important to so many of us. Most of what you see tonight will be put together by him.
My name is Brent Suker, Marketing Director here at Hearts of Fire, extending an extremely warm welcome to every single person signing on right now. We have people from Facebook Live, we have people from Zoom, we have people from our website, we have people from their mobile devices. Welcome. Give yourselves a round of applause for being on tonight and making time to be here. We deeply appreciate every single one of you. Now, this is a different format, so how is it going to work? Well, we will continue our stream throughout this next 45 minutes, and we will keep the information on how to make a contribution on the screen for as much time as possible during the evening. So if for whatever reason you have to sign off, feel free to jump online to our website. You can make a donation, or we have instructions on other methods of giving on the screen, predominantly through the rest of the evening. So if there's anything you need help with, there's also a number on the screen you can contact. We want you guys to be able to connect very simply and enjoy this experience. We feel very grateful for everything that's happened over 2020. And even though we could not travel like we normally do, we still were able to depend on our partners who are in country and continue the work moving forward. And you're going to get a chance to hear from some of those people tonight. So without further ado, it is my honor to introduce our co-founders. So let's kick this off.
We're on, by the way.
We're on? Oh, are we on? I can't believe it. Hey, welcome everybody. Hi there. Hi, everybody. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here. I can't believe it. This is just so amazing. Welcome. Welcome to the 15th annual Hearts of Fire virtual benefit. And Rhonda, oh, I forgot. Hey, introduce myself. I am Dr. Vilma Vega, and yes, I am one of the co-founders of Hearts of Fire. And so, hey, Rhonda, shoot it to you.
We are so excited. I'm Rhonda Pecoraro, co-founder Hearts of Fire.
And I'm Dr. Joe Pecoraro, one of the other co-founders of Hearts of Fire.
And, you know, wow, we were just talking about how to describe this event today. And historic would be
It
one
is.
because we're usually at Michael's on East in Sarasota, and seeing everyone in person. But you know what? This is how we're doing it. So welcome. You guys are in the right place, and we're so glad you're here.
And this is our 15th year, which is really pretty incredible. Now, those of you who've been with us before, guess what? You're not going to get the chocolate cake tonight unless you have it at your home. A lot of people come and they're looking forward to that chocolate cake at Michael's on East, but not tonight. So we've got a great night in store too. And let's get right into it.
Yeah, Joe, hey, listen, I'm ready. I'm ready. I've got my roller skates on and I am excited. So can't wait to see all the news.
Thank you guys. And I don't know if everyone caught it or not, but Dr. Vega did mention she had her roller skates on. And when that takes place, something's probably about to go down, and it's going to be big. Anywho, onto an aspect of what I really wanted to communicate is simply this. Hearts of Fire cannot do what Hearts of Fire does. Hearts of Fire cannot be who Hearts of Fire is without you. Without you, our donor base, our family, and the people who call Hearts of Fire home, we can't invest and empower in people's lives without you. So let me be the first and not the last to say, but truly thank you. And because of your generosity and the way that you've sowed, not to Hearts of Fire, but through Hearts of Fire, we were able to make an incredible amount of impact throughout 2020. And it was unreal. Alone, we saw $27,000 be sent into the field in light of COVID relief. Additionally, beyond that, we were able to feed 20,000 people. And something that I'm particularly passionate about is that we were able to install 13 wells in Kenya and India. So now, because of that, and because of your generosity, 113,000 people now have access to clean, disease-free water. And shifting gears slightly from the impact and into another area that I'm particularly passionate about is our next generation. It's no surprise that in order for the church to be the church, we have to continue pouring in to the generations that came with us, but particularly the generation that's coming behind us. And in this past year, we were able to work with local youth groups on projects and prototyping things that will be taking place in the mission field soon to come. We've partnered with missionaries that are in their early 20s and some that are first-year missionaries in the field. With all of that in total, we're really seeing the kingdom of God grow from the eldest to the youngest. And I am just honored to be a part of this next generation that is stewarding and being a part of this harvest that's taking place. And at the end of the day, again, we cannot do what we do without you. So to everyone that's given $1, to everyone who's given 1 penny, there's no such thing as too small of a gift. And whenever you sow, we're seeing a harvest. So thank you. Dr. Vega, back to you.
So again, welcome. I just want to thank you from our hearts to yours. The fact that you're here and that you've taken time away from your family and anything else that might have been important in your life to come and join us means that this is as important. And we are thankful. Perhaps many of you have had changes in your jobs, have had changes in your family. Many of you have gone through illnesses and difficulties that you never, ever imagined. And my heart, our hearts goes out to you because I know that these challenges, sometimes they can really weaken us and can make it really tough even to see where God is going. But guess what? It's through those times that God really shows up. And it's, that's exactly why we're here today. When you imagine, why are we here? It's the fact that, even though we've been thrown into isolation, even though we've been thrown into difficulties and diseases and so much that we've seen through this pandemic, that no, we have not forgotten what our mission is. And our mission is still to serve those around the world that are in need and underserved. And so today we are excited. We're excited that you're here with us. We thank you for your dedication, for your love, for your efforts, for everything that you've given, not only this time to be with us, but everything that has helped us to keep going in our mission to love the world. So we thank you again and welcome.
And so tonight, because we have this format, you're going to have an opportunity to give throughout the evening. And we realize that many of you are just for the first time being introduced to Hearts of Fire. So we hope that we can give you a glimpse of who we are throughout the evening. Our goal for tonight is to raise $400,000. And so far, up to this event, we have raised nearly a fourth of that. But we know the need is even greater than that. So as you go through the evening, we ask you to see how God moves you and give when you can, but listen closely and pay attention because there's a lot that you're going to hear tonight.
You're not wrong, Dr. Joe. There's a lot we're going to be going over, a lot we're going to hear, all positive things on this stream, so that's good. And up next, we have a couple who's been believing and standing by our side with Hearts of Fire for more than a decade now. They're very close to our hearts. We greatly appreciate them, and it's a pleasure to have them on in this quick interview that was conducted recently with Dr. Joe, sharing part of what's in their heart. Please watch.
Well, and now everyone, we're moving to Colorado where we have Dan and Mary Bell. Dan and Mary are, they're great friends of ours, Ron and me. And at the same time, they've been incredible supporters of Hearts of Fire in many different ways. And Mary, in fact, even has been on a trip with us one time many years ago. So, well, Dan and Mary, just, tell us, like, what is it about Hearts of Fire that keeps you guys connected over all these years?
Well, I tell you, Joe, when we first met you and became friends and we saw the goodness that you were doing around the world with Hearts of Fire, it just kind of melted our hearts with compassion and just joy that, that the Lord had touched you with this cause, and to be able to help others in other countries that, like widows and orphans that have so little in life, that we are so blessed in this country. I see my own kids and grandkids, the things that we just take for granted, in our American society. We're so blessed. But, I know so many Christians don't take it for granted, and people don't take it for granted, but, you can fall into that a little bit. Like, this is expected to have the material possessions. But when we see the pictures, Joe, that when you go, and we see the Facebook pictures and the things you told us, you and Rhonda, about the people and the beautiful little shiny faces, so happy to see you and see the results of your giving: medical supplies, food, clothing, shoes, clean water. It just, I'm sorry, I'm tearing up, but it just really does melt our heart, and we would love to be part of it. And we feel it's a blessing to be part of it, of this great cause for the Lord.
Well, Mary, you really hit it on the head. We are so blessed in this country. And Joe, I think back, we've probably been a supporter of Hearts of Fire for at least 10 years, maybe even longer. And one of the things that I think is so powerful about Hearts of Fire is the fact, as somebody that contributes, is to see your contribution firsthand. It's not like we're giving to some big, large charity that, you give money and you don't see the result. Here, when you give gifts, you can see the results that Mary talked about. And to know that the contributions that you give have an immediate impact, you can see that, you can feel that. It does, to Mary's point, it brings a great deal of joy. And it's something that it's very humbling, actually. In fact, last night we were having dinner, and we were just saying, well, here, this was a nice dinner that we had, and we're thinking about, we take it so much for granted, the food on the table every day, that we can experience that, but to know that there are folks around the world, and specifically the folks that your ministry, Hearts of Fire, are able to touch, to be able to just provide basics for them: food, water, medical supplies.
Talking about how we have food available reminds me of the one time we provided just simple flatbreads, rice, beans, and a little bit of chicken. And I asked our host to ask the people when was the last time they had that kind of a meal. And he asked them, and I was a little taken aback because they all started laughing. And I thought they were laughing at me. And I said, well, what's so funny? And he said, they said they've never eaten a meal this wonderful. And, and I mean, that was such a shock to me.
We were talking earlier today, and you were mentioning the fact that in a lot of the work that Hearts of Fire is doing now is actually helping people create like a sustainable economy, where not only the fact that people contribute and give to Hearts of Fire, but Hearts of Fire now is investing in a local economy so that people can, it's the old story: give a man a fish and he eats for a day, teach him how to fish and he eats for a lifetime. And to me, that is so powerful, because that is creating not a welfare state, but really again, a sustainable economy where people can improve their lives, not just coming to the rescue in a time of need when they have, but also looking at the future, looking down the road, to a point where they're able to be more self-reliant and have a better way of life.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And in fact, they want to help each other. So it's almost as if we didn't even have to teach them to fish. All we had to do was give them the pole.
Yeah, I love that. That is fantastic.
Thanks again. God bless you guys. And
Thanks,
hope
Joe.
to see you in person sometime soon.
Sometime soon. And we can't wait actually to go on a mission trip, when this whole COVID thing gets behind us, so that we can, really, as you said, just personally experience.
Absolutely. We can't wait.
Yeah, we can't wait. Yeah.
All right. Well, God bless you guys. Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of the evening on this this virtual benefit. So thanks again.
This is all super exciting. Guys, I just want to interrupt real quick. We just met our first benchmark of $100,000. Give it up for yourselves. Let's keep it going.
Wow, $100,000, guys. Thank you so much. We are getting there. You guys are stepping up. This is so exciting. Thank you very much. Again, if you need to use the information on the screen during any moment of this broadcast, the information to donate is on the screen. And if you need help with anything, there's also a contact number there for you to reach out. Now, I love the fact that Dr. Joe mentions the fishing pole, right? Because in reality, there are so many people that are crazy smart all over the world, and they know better than us a lot of times how to get things done. We never want to be the organization that shows up somewhere and assumes that we have the best answer always. We want them to be co-laborers with us that we value, and that they know that they have input in solving the underlying issues. And this makes things more sustainable. And that is the culture we're trying to create as an organization, one that would value the locals in every country that we work with as co-laborers in the same cause. And so Joseph, my next guest, is really a perfect example of that. He's somebody who approached us with a vision. Dr. Joe, I'll kick it over to you, and let's hear his story.
Now we're coming all the way from the Masai Mara, which is in Kenya near the Serengeti. Joseph and Poe. Joseph has been a friend of mine for the past few years. He has assisted us so greatly in helping the Maasai people during the pandemic, because they rely so heavily on tourism, which was completely shut down during the pandemic. And we're working with economic empowerment in the area. And he's a great Christian guy, a pillar in his community. Joseph.
Hey, Dr. Joe. Thank you very much. I must say that it's a pleasure meeting you a few years back, and it has been a blessing since then. I must say that God has been gracious for bringing you to our lives here, and we've seen quite tremendous changes over the time. So one time during the COVID time, it was a very, very difficult time, especially for my community out here who relied on tourism that was shut actually immediately when the pandemic was actually rising up. So one day we were actually chatting with Dr. Joe, and he actually asked if we had a problem during this time, and if we needed some relief food. And I was like, that is absolutely right. And bringing food to the community that day was a joy. It was such a great relief, because there was the markets actually during the lockdown where we would actually take our cows to sell for money and actually buy food for ourselves. It was a big problem because the market was shut down, and it was actually, life was at a standstill because we didn't know what next. So when I brought this car with food and issuing to the people in my village, Alboma, wow, it was such a great day. Everyone actually smiled, and we just blessed a lot. It was an amazing day that day. So we continued that with that hand of relief for about 2 months. So every 2 weeks, I think, Joe will actually reach out and send relief food for the people, and it was such a blessing. So talking to people, actually, we actually talked to a lady after that time and asked the impact and how they felt about this opportunity. And they said it was an amazing opportunity that has never happened before. Just having people from somewhere that you don't know sending food to you. But we prayed for it, and God answered the prayer. So later on, we thought of actually how to empower them economically now that we became friends. And therefore, we actually established a posho mill whereby it will be providing food for this community as an economic empowerment. So it has just started, and we are almost there. And we look forward to partnering with Hearts Afire that has actually come our way. And we thank God for Hearts Afire and all the well wishers who have stood with us during the pandemic. We are so grateful. Thank you very much.
So awesome, Joseph. Thank you so much. It's amazing hearing from you, especially all the way from Kenya. Thank you for bringing this amazing sustainable project idea to us and helping us get it done. Now, our next guest isn't technically from Kenya, but he definitely has some very deep roots there. And let's go ahead and bring him on, Dr. Joe, and let's hear from our great friend, Mr. Craig Hatchie.
I'm introducing a good friend of mine who's really part of the Hearts Afire family now. And Craig, why don't you give us a little bit of the history and the story of how you came to be such an integral part of the Hearts Afire team?
Very well, Joe. Again, my name is Craig Hatchie, and this is why I joined the Hearts Afire train. My path to joining the Hearts Afire train has been an exciting and blessed journey. And it all started with marrying my most amazing and talented wife, Dr. McKenna Marangu. My wife was born in Kenya in 1959. And in 1966, and at the age of 6, she immigrated to the United States. My wife eventually attended the Medical College of Virginia, and she then applied to and was accepted to the surgical residency at UMDNJ in Newark, New Jersey. And that is where Dr. Joe was her chief resident. During this time, Dr. Joe and his wife, Rhonda, became two of my wife's very best friends. And my wife always jokingly said that Dr. Joe protected her from the Italians at UMDNJ. It was also during this time that my wife introduced Dr. Joe and Rhonda to Kenya. Now to fast forward, in 1999, Dr. McKenna and I were married, and we settled down in San Clemente, California. In 2006, my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. However, we also started our own nonprofit called Answer Africa. Answer Africa's initial focus was to provide critical health interventions to eradicate malaria. And our first project was to provide over 250,000 mosquito nets to very rural areas in Kenya. This focus resulted in a 36% decline in malaria in these targeted villages. My wife battled breast cancer for almost a decade, and in 2015, she passed. In late 2017, I decided to restart Answer Africa. And I decided to do something in my wife's name and to do it in her birth country of Kenya. I wrote that commitment down as one of my commitments for 2018, and I prayed over it. Amazingly enough, the very next day, I received a phone call from Dr. Joe, as if he was listening in. Dr. Joe shared about the Hearts of Fire Mountain Hospital that was being built in Eldoret, Kenya. After learning about all the amazing accomplishments of Hearts of Fire, who these people were, who they were aligned with, what they had accomplished already, what they were doing, their unselfish and focused hearts committed to giving and service, and the hospital they were building in Kenya, I knew that this was a God-given path and exactly what I was looking for. I then flew to Florida and attended the Hearts of Fire benefit in 2018. And I was so very impressed with everyone I met at that benefit. And it was a natural and instinctual conclusion to jump on this Hearts of Fire train and finance the 10,000 square foot, 50-bed maternity center that is attached to the Hearts of Fire Mountain Hospital in Eldoret, Kenya, and to do so in my wife's name. And this is the McKenna Morongo Memorial Maternity Center. I'm so very excited to continue this alignment with Hearts of Fire into the future and into my retirement. And I am extremely grateful for this opportunity to work with this committed team of selfless, serving rainmakers at Hearts of Fire.
Yes. Well, Craig, thank you for everything that you do. We really appreciate the way that you are always stepping up, and you're such an integral part of what we're doing, as Dr. Joe said. And it's crazy to see how the team has kind of been formed over the years of different people jumping on that Hearts of Fire train, as you like to say, Craig. And honestly, I think I would be robbing everyone of the best part if we did not have our dear friend, Pastor Lacavo, involved in some capacity in this stream tonight, because he really was the original visionary who captured the long-term goal for everything that's on Per Mountain. So one last time, Dr. Joe, let's get back over to you.
We're going all the way to Kenya for this one. And Bishop Lacavo is he's a pastor of the church that we've worked with in Eldoret there. And it's been such a blessing to see the progress of what's transpired since he and I first met. And I know that when he and I first met, it was almost like an immediate bond of our spirits. So Brother Joseph, the other Joseph, can go ahead and just maybe share what's on your heart and what got put on your heart through this process.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Joe. And hi to everybody who is part of this program tonight or this time. I'm extremely grateful for this invitation to be part of this great happening or event at this time. Dr. Joe and I met in about 2007. And I believe this is one of those meetings you come across people by God's own divine arrangement. That relationship built very fast from 2007, and Dr. Joe was able to see our vision, what we were called to do, and what God has put in our hands. I shared my heart with Dr. Joe, and particularly on the work of the Prayer Mountain. And I do believe my meeting with Dr. Joe was one of those divine meetings without any question or doubt. I was orphaned when I was young. When I was 9 years old, my mother passed on. When I was in high school, just first year of high school, my father passed on. So getting education and decent living was a big challenge. I had to live in school, actually. I was in a boarding school, and whenever other kids went home, they always left me behind to work in the school like a gardener, to plant trees, cut the grasses, weed the flowers to make sure they are clean, so that I could raise money for my schooling. And that I was very low. So I sat on a stone and I prayed. I said, God, help me finish school. After that, I'll be able to build you a place of prayer where people can come and pray. It was kind of a prayer made by a young boy who was desperate, just needed a miracle from God. To make it very short, I went through high school. God helped me. I went to college. When I came out of college, I began to work, came to settle in Eldoret. And in one of the conferences, I pointed towards our present prayer mountain. I said, God is going to give us one of those places to establish prayer. I didn't even know it was going to work. Within a few months, there's a family that donated the first 2 acres of property in that same area where I had pointed. And it began to expand and grow in 2002. And that was in 1998 when we got the first 2 acres. 2002, by God's help, through friends, an expansion was done. 2004, we did a road. 2007, I met Dr. Joe, because my dream for the prayer mountain was basically to have a place where people can pray as an answer to the prayer I had made to the Lord. But deep within my heart, I've always had a burden for orphans because of the challenges I had. I've always wanted to give support to orphans, which I've done over the years. And when I met Dr. Joe, the vision expanded and the first house was built, which has orphans at this point. My other desire was actually to provide health facilities because of the environment. The environment is so needy. The community where the mountain is so needy. And not just that community, but the general area. And Dr. Joe came over, and during our conversations, he asked me a question about a clinic. And from that conversation, we have seen the hospital coming up, a wonderful facility supported by Hearts Afire, who do the fundraising and they have funded every part of that project. Again, in response to the desire that God had laid in my heart. What a beautiful thing we are witnessing today. We are extremely excited. And thank you so much, Dr. Joe. Thank you so much, Hearts Afire. And thank you so much to everybody whose heart is moved to be part of this wonderful, wonderful gift to the people of Eldoret and the people of Kenya. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Pastor. I know it's always great to hear that story again, and look forward to the next time we see each other in person.
Guys, here we go. Just in, we just met our second benchmark, $200,000. Here we go. Let's keep it rolling.
Woo! $200,000. We are halfway to our $400,000 mark. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for stepping up and getting this done. If you're sitting next to somebody, turn, maybe give them a little air five, a little bit of a COVID elbow bump of sorts. I don't know, whatever you're comfortable with. Thank you. Celebrate yourselves. We really appreciate you. And if you're new to Hearts of Fire, you might not know this, but recently, my main man, Cameron Rogers, was working with an organization called Excellence in Giving. Basically, they're an organization that works with nonprofits from all over the world, making sure that money is managed properly. And in his working with them, we were able to earn the seal of financial transparency. Simply put, that means that when you make a donation, your money goes where you intended it to go and in a way that will have maximum impact. So that's something we're extremely proud of, so very excited about, happy to share with you. So as you contribute, know that we are doing our very best job with everything that is entrusted to us. So speaking of impact and what's on the horizon, let's kick back to the co-founders now to hear what's next for Hearts of Fire, what's coming up the pipeline, and what better way, Dr. Vega, I'm going to kick it back over to you.
You know, we ourselves continue to grow, and this is strong growth. It isn't just your simple growth. No, it's exponential growth. We have continued to multiply, you know, leaders and people in other countries that we've been able to see them, to help them to grow as well. And so, you know, this is an exciting year. You know, isn't it incredible? You were talking to me about these projects. I'd love to hear about them, please.
Well, you know, when we went there in December, just walking into that little flour mill in the Masai Mara, we're working with some Masai leaders there and seeing what happened in 2020 because of the pandemic, because of the hardships. And so that came out of it. So that's a sustainable project, just seeing that little building out in the middle of the Masai Mara with the machinery to produce the flour, to mill the flour. So, and Bibles, we doubled it last year.
Yeah.
And this year, 2021, we want to double that again because they all want Bibles. And that is something that is so needed there. And that's part of what we do.
5,000, more than 5,000 we were able to distribute in 2020. And what a year for that, to be able to spread God's word.
Wow.
And so for instance, the mill, like you were talking about, Rhonda, the wells in India, the poultry project that's going to support the orphanage and the church. These are all ongoing projects that will continue and that support some of the ministries that we have going on over there. The dairy project is providing milk and food for 180 girls in a children's home in Meru. We've got so many things going on that God has sort of pushed us in that direction. And I think it moved a lot quicker than it otherwise would have, really.
Joe, what about the hospital? What about the hospital? Because, I'm so excited about hearing about that.
Well, and the thing about the hospital too is we started that hospital long before the pandemic. And when that's finished this year, what an incredibly valuable thing it's going to be for providing services to all those people, because we've got the McKenna Marangu Memorial Maternity Center there as well. We talk about the hospital, but what about the area?
Well, the area, oh my goodness, the bumpy dirt roads to get there, and passing the small little huts and homes, and selling fruit on the side of the road, to earn enough, just a meager pay to survive, right? So this is where the hospital is. And it's going to serve, like Joe said, 10 million people, and in this impoverished area. So they are excited. We've already been doing clinics there before the pandemic, and they're excited to be able to have a doctor to go to.
And this is just the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
We've got so many more projects like this that we're moving into as the future goes. We've got satellite clinics to build. We've got additional churches. The widows who get nothing when their husbands die, we're expanding that to build more homes for them. And so I think at this point, what we're doing is we are empowering them in the way that we should.
Right. And Joe, I wanted to talk to you about that. What about the COVID relief project that we also did this past year? You just got back from Kenya, and that's what's impressive. Even in the midst of the pandemic and the difficulties, we knew that there were high priorities that we still needed to complete. And Joe and Rhonda, both of you went out to Kenya just recently and got back. Could you tell us a little bit about that trip and how we dealt with COVID this past year in our global projects?
Well, things are going. Things are still moving. We met with the engineer at the hospital. So things are still moving along. We're coming to the completion of the McKenna Marangu Maternity Center and the hospital. So things are happening. We're still providing. We're still working.
And one last thing, Vilma, along those lines, I really want to thank all who gave for that, because there were so many people. They were the widows in some areas were eating leaves to try and sustain themselves. In the tribal communities, they have no food at all, and it was the giving that really did what needed to be done for the COVID relief. So thank you again, and let's move on.
All amazing things, Miss Rhonda and Dr. Joe. And you're right. I mean, we could go on all night with story after story after story. Because as we say, every number has a name, every name has a story. But now it's time for us to dive into one particular story that really touches on all four of the Hearts of Fire pillars in one person's life. And something we're very excited to share with you guys. So we hope you enjoy this clip.
My names are Joan Kilima. I'm a pastor and a mother of 4 children. My hopes and dreams as a child, I really liked to learn and finish my school very well and continue with studies so that I can help my family. But I couldn't proceed on with studies because of finances. I got married on 25th December 1981. His name was John Oka. And he didn't talk much, but he just told me, I want you to be my wife. That's all. I remember hiding my bag in the forest, and we dodged in the evening around 6. I got married. My husband was a pastor. He was so close to me, even to the children. We were praying together. He used to call me in the morning, but that day he didn't call me at all. And when I tried to call, he never answered. My brother called me and told me, John, we are sorry. Our brother-in-law has gone. Immediately as my husband passed away, my husband hid alone and we were auctioned. Everything was taken away. Lakini nampenda Mungu. I love God so much, so much. So I decided to put my full trust in the Lord. Nilimwambia Mungu, wewe peke yako, sitaangalia mwingine. Nilikuwa na hiyo burden ya women, meeting with widows. Walikuwa wanafurahishwa, walikuwa wanakuja kwangu waniambia, John, tunatamani maisha. They just tell me, Pastor John, just pray for me. I want to be like you. When I have something small, I share with them. Sometimes I take old clothes. But one day I cried to God that God may help me and bless me so that I can bless them. I met Hearts Afire through my apostle, Joseph Likavo of International Vision Center. So one day he called me to Eldoret and told me that he wants to connect me with Dr. Joe. So from there we started communicating with Dr. Joe, and they started visiting the church in Kamara. When I started with a few. Na ni wakati ule kina Mam Ronda na Joe alikuja. So kuna wenye walikuja kwangu wakiwa na shida. So I talked to Mam Ronda. Nikamwambia Mam, kuna wamama hivi na hivi na hivi. Immediately she asked me, how do you want us to help them? Nikamwambia we can start with food because hakukuwa na chakula. So they send me money. Na nikafanya hiyo shopping yote. And so I'm so happy because I was asking God to give someone who can understand me and the burden which I'm having.
In many ways, Joan's life is typical of widows in Kenya in that it's extremely difficult. Yet in other ways, she's unique. Habari undugu. Nzuri sana. And it's unique in that she's taken this difficult life and incorporated all 4 pillars of Hearts Afire into making a better life for herself and other people. She's taken ministry and prayer support, and she has pastored a church, which she continues. She has taken care of the pillar of healthcare and disease prevention by allowing us to do medical outreaches and taking care of her community. She incorporates taking care of widows and children through her ministry there. And lastly, with sustainable projects, Joan has allowed us to build a well on the property of the church in order for her to be able to provide fresh water for her community. Let's hear the rest of Joan's story.
I thank God because of Hearts Afire. When they come, the first thing they do, hata kabla hajatibu mtu, anamuombea na anamu-encourage. Hearts Afire has involved for many projects. Like right now, I've prepared 7 houses for widows. Ambapo walikuwa nalala chini wanateseka. And today they are happy. They have bought me a new land. Already they have dug a borehole. They are building a church. And also they are building a house for me as a pastor of that church. What is making me to walk every day, it's what I see God is doing for me. That's like right now, the things that God is doing for me. Nasikia kwenda mbele zaidi. Hiyo ndio inanifanya because ananipa hopes. Naona mambo ikitendeka. Naendelea tu. na ndio maana sitaki kuzeeka. Amen. Mi sitaki kuzeeka Mike. I want to preach this gospel mpaka iseme yes na nisaidie wengine waende heaven.
When I hear stories like Pastor Jones and other widows, it really breaks my heart. But it's something where I want to do something about it. I want to just jump in there and help make their lives a little bit better, because there's lots of struggle, there's lots of heartache. They've been through so much. And the purpose of Hearts of Fire is to go into areas like this and provide resources that they don't normally have, like the hospital, building homes for the widows, this orphanage that I'm sitting in front of. So we can go in, serve them well, give them a life. I think that God wants a better life for us all, and just to go in there and empower them to serve an amazing way.
You've now watched and heard a story that I'm sure has touched your heart. It certainly touched mine. It made me think, am I doing enough? And the point of it is that here, this woman, with very little that she has, and even when she had almost nothing at all, she decided to make a difference and change the culture around her, create this culture of selflessness. By her example, she is changing the lives of so many. The fact that she's created this ministry for widows to help, to make a difference in a community is amazing. And I hope this inspires you as well, that, we are not one man on an island alone, but that we are called to make a difference. No matter what our circumstances are, we are called to make a difference.
So it's not just Joan, but you've seen the conditions of how many of these other people live. And hopefully you've gotten a glimpse of their lives. And they live that every day. That's their lives. Every hour of every day. It's a difficult life that we, meaning you and us, have an opportunity to help with. When Rhonda and I were there in December, and we had a blind widow who didn't even know who we were. And then when they said, these are the people who built your home, she reached out to us to give us thanks. She started praising God for the building of her home. But it wasn't us, it was you. There were 2 villages in the Masai Mara, the tribal area. They rely 90% of their sustenance comes from tourism. And then during the pandemic, no one was even allowed to have intercity travel in Kenya. And yet you stepped up and you started providing, through your giving, food for these people in this crisis. And when we were there, they thanked us so much. But again, it wasn't us, it was you. And yes, there's times that we've gone, and many of you have gone with us. And we so appreciate that. And for those who haven't gone with us yet, we look forward to the day when you can come with us again. Because it's not us, it's you. You are the heart behind Hearts of Fire. And during this evening, I know God's spoken to a number of you. Some in your heart, some that still small voice, and it was probably something that you've seen or heard. And there's so many things we didn't even talk about, the shoes for the children that help prevent disease, and the clothing, and so many things that you've done to help throughout the years. So what I'm asking you to do tonight, I'm inviting you to give your best gift. Your best gift. Not what you think you can do, but what you want God to do through you. And for those of you who want to give it as a one-time gift, that's wonderful, and we appreciate that. For those of you who want to be part of our monthly donor base, that is really critical to us. The part of the heart is the monthly donor base, and if you can give a faith promise over the course of the year, that allows us to really budget properly and to be able to let you be the heartbeat of everything that we're able to do. So be a part of living that culture of selflessness, that we are all excited to try and ignite that worldwide. And part of that is prayer. And we know so many of you pray for us. Every time we go, you pray for the ministry. We have people all over the world praying for this ministry, not because of us, but because of you, because people give to Hearts of Fire because we empty our hands back to those who need it most. Part of that could be being on a team which we serve in, and we look forward to that again. For those of you who have planned on coming in 2020 even, don't worry, that time will come back, but that's not going to stop what we're doing. The financial giving has really helped us to empower economically so many people. And many of you have already given even before this benefit, before tonight. So I want to thank you for that. We've seen the numbers go up throughout the evening. I want to thank all of you who've been giving all evening long. So if you're still not sure and you need a return envelope, just let us know. Or you've seen the address on the screen, mail your gift to us. Or you can text us to that number that's on there. Give your faith promise and someone from the office will connect to you. The easiest way though is to just go to our website, click on the donate button and give. And there you'll have an opportunity to give generally or more specifically if that's where your heart is. So again, think about what it is that God wants from you. As Dr. Vega said earlier, is that so many times a lot of us think I could be doing more, or maybe I should be doing more, and we don't know what to give. Some of you are looking for an organization to lock hands with. And if we're that organization, we appreciate that. Because we know, again, it's all because of you. So thank you again. Give as your heart desires, as God moves you. And we are so looking forward to the completion of this evening and what God has in store for this year and the years to come.
So we realize that, we're very, very thankful for everything that you give to us. And we thank you for what you've given tonight, what you've given in the past, and what you are yet to give. But we also realize that giving is scriptural. It doesn't just come from the fact of us obligatorily doing, but it comes from scripture, from the love of God. And I remember scripture where it says in 2 Corinthians 9:11, yes, you will be enriched in every way so that you can always be generous. And when we take your gifts to those who need them, they will thank God. And that's really what is at the base of our giving.
So we're so glad that you joined us tonight because we had a great time. We hope that you did too. We hope for those of you who are new that you learned a little bit more about Hearts of Fire and what it is that God is doing through this ministry. For those of you who still need to mail in your donations, mail them in. You have the address on the screen there again. And it may be that you saw or heard something and you thought someone's name popped into your mind as someone who you thought really would have liked to have heard tonight. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is if there's a part that you need to listen to again, or if there's someone else that needs to listen to it, you can go to our website because this will be recorded. And so it will be available on our website after tonight for whoever needs to see it, even possibly throughout the year. So thanks again, everyone. God bless you so much and good night.